Hey everyone, this is Newman here with 910 Airgun Tuning and Repairs. Today we are doing the opposite of a Dreamline disassembly, so that is going to be the Dreamline reassembly. So we're going to go in reverse order of the disassembly video. We're going to start with the safety, which is what we ended up with on the last video. We have the safety mechanism here with the spring and ball. So, to install the safety, we're going to flip the action over, and that's where the spring and ball are going to go right there. I will go ahead and say sometimes a reassembly is a little bit more difficult than a disassembly. Just because you have to get more precise, put certain parts in certain places, stuff like that. So, you have to drop the spring in. There's a whole groove for the spring, and you got to drop the ball on top of the spring. Then after that, you have to slide this. Well, the ball just fell right on out. Sorry about that. Anyways, you're gonna have to slide this way into the action so that the lever can stick out this side through the hole. It can stick out this side right where it says fire and safety. I'm not gonna flip it over because that little metal ball's in there again. So the best way I have found to do this is to take something to hold down the steel ball that's in there. So I'm gonna, for instance, I'm gonna take this this mill bit, or I mean this drill bit right here. Let me push. I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna push it down. There we go. And now the steel ball is actually stuck in the hole for the lever, so I'm going to take the lever. There we go. We got it on through now. And now that it's through, you go ahead and put the lever back in. You've got the click right there. Now to set this in place, I don't know if you've watched this assembly video or not, but if you haven't, there's a small screw on the other side. It's going to be a 1.5 millimeter. Coming through this side, so you just have to tighten that screw. There we go. Just snug enough to where that lever's not going to fall out, and I can set it into place a little bit better. You don't want too much of the lever sticking out the bottom there, because it can scratch your action. If you have this on a classic, like such as this action right here. The tacticals and the Dream-Lite, the Dream-Pup, I believe, they have a different safety lever than this. I will be going over that on future videos, the specific parts to the different types of Dreamlines. So once you have your lever facing the way you want to, you can go over here and finish tightening. Be sure to hold the lever in place as you do this. And there you have it. That's not coming out anywhere. Alright, so now that we got the safety in, we're going to install the cocking lever assembly along with the pellet probe. Now once again, this pellet probe goes into here just like that. It has a square section around it, and so does this. As you can see, it's square. So it just sets right in like that. You've got your 1.5 millimeter screw right there. And there we go. It's completely flush, and we've tightened that down. It's good to go. So, we're just going to simply slide this into the action there. Remember, this is held in place with the pivot pin that goes in right there. And I've got that sitting right here. Take this, go ahead and set that through. And again, this is a 1.5. Be sure not to over tighten or strip this pivot pin out. It is extremely difficult to remove if you strip it out. You strip it out, you're probably going to have to replace your action, honestly. And it being such a small screw and small screw head, you can actually strip that out pretty easily. So just please be very careful with that screw. That being said, the cocking assembly is now installed, and we can head to the next area. Okay, so the next area that we're going to do is the hammer assembly. So we got the hammer, you got the hammer spring adjuster. This isn't quite the same order that we did the video in, I don't believe. I think I did the I removed the hammer, then the trigger, and then the cocking assembly, but going back in, it's okay to do it this way. So, you've got 3 holes down here. The cocking lever goes in the top one, the hammer is going to go in the bottom one. Drop that in like that. Drop that into the hammer. Make sure it falls into the hammer and isn't stuck on the side of the hammer weight or the hammer itself. And then we're going to install the hammer spring adjuster. For that, you will need a 5mm Allen wrench. It's a little bit difficult since it is straight through. There's nothing to stop the Allen. It's a bottomless hole. So there we go. Don't want to go completely tight. And there you have it. I'm not going to put Loctite on it at this time because it's not properly adjusted right or tuned right for this gun. So there's no point in putting Loctite on it because I'm going to be taking it in and out later. Okay, so the next thing in the video will be the trigger assembly. Remember, we got the trigger. We've got 4 pins here. We've got 4 little set screws to go with it. And we have the trigger sear. So the first thing we put in is the trigger sear. So that's actually done best with a pair of forceps. You can use a very small pair of needle nose pliers too, but I just use forceps so I can lock it like that. So you just grab it by the tip right there. You've got the hole. That's going to go line up with this hole back here. So you can go ahead and take one of your pins, stick it through so you can see. And what it does, it fits through this little gap right here. So you're going to angle that down there. And you can see the pin through the on the video, just so you know where I'm putting this. You're going to line the hole up with that down there. There we go. Alright. So we can let go. We can close that back. We're going to go ahead and lock this in place. So we're going to go and push that pin all the way through. It's not going to come out the other side because FX has actually redesigned these to where you cannot push a pin through this side. Or at least not that same size of pin. You're going to take the 1.5mm Allen screw right here. Or the head of the screw is 1.5mm Allen. Going to take that. You don't have to over tighten it, just tighten it where it's not going to back out on you. It's not going to be loose. There you go, that's in place. So the next one, you're going to make sure that trigger sear is engaged upwards. It's not falling down. You're going to slide a pin through that second area. It's going to stack on the bottom side of the sear. It's to keep the sear up so it doesn't fall down and jam. Going to go ahead and take our screw. Set it in place. Got that. And then next, we're going to install a trigger. Now, on the trigger sear, you've got this piece right here on the on the back side. Yeah, the side that's closest to the safety. There'll be a little arm, I guess you could call it, sticking out, and that rides inside the spring. So you're going to take that, you're going to line that up there, and then the trigger wheel lines up with this third hole right here. So you need to line that up as well. It's hard to show on video, but you got to kind of work it around until you get lined up right. And there you go. It'll push right on through when you've got it lined up right. That might take a little bit more time. And then we're going to take our screw and go ahead and lock that pin into place. Alright, and the last pin right here, that's for the first stage. That's going to follow just right on in because the trigger's not engaged right now. We're going to put that last screw in place. Just to hold that pin in, and there we go. We're going to go along. We're just going to do a little torque test, make sure they're all tight. Now we're going to do a little cocking test. So, gun's on fire right now. You're going to pull the bolt back, it catches, it's loose. Then you're going to pull the trigger and it's going to come forward. Alright, so it looks like everything's working there.